Welcome to BS Draftcast, where we are Brandon and Steven, and we are back at you with another video. Took a little short break, try and let free agency kick off, all the trades kick off, so we could cover some. I'm sure a lot of people have seen them already, but we kind of want to touch base on them, our thoughts on them. If it's that we think that they're paying too much for someone, what have you, something like that. As always, I got my man Steven on the other line. Steven, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to do a little recap on this exciting free agency.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been a whirlwind. It's been crazy. Definitely a lot of moves, definitely a lot of new faces and on different teams. I think this year's gonna be fun, man. I really do.
I agree. I agree. Yep. Excited for the draft coming up too, man. There's been a lot of moving parts this off season.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Without further ado, let's dive right into the AFC East. We got the Buffalo Bills. I would say their big one would be Curtis Samuel. Uh, Getting Curtis Samuel signed to a 3-year deal, 30 million, $10 million a year. Curtis Samuel's proven that he can be a elite weapon. Obviously, little hindrance in Washington with quarterback situation and the quarterback carousel down there. So I think we'll really see what Curtis Samuel can do in Buffalo.
Yeah, he could be a good weapon for Josh Allen. One of them do-it-all guys, gadget players. Yeah, definitely a very solid pickup, especially after losing Gabe Davis in free agency.
Right, right. Obviously, locking down Dion Dawkins, uh, signing him to an extension because he was entering his final year. Bringing back Mitch Trubisky, which I don't quite understand. I mean, obviously everybody wants a backup, but that dude shouldn't even be in the league, and that's coming from a Steeler fan, obviously. But any other big ones that they brought in or signed? I have the list up. I mean, not. I mean, I guess Daquan Jones. Uh, re-signed Taylor Rapp, Mike Edwards. I mean, nothing like too flashy. I see. Obviously, I think they were one of the teams that had some cap issues as well. Uh, but that could have played a big part in that team not really doing a whole lot. As far as the Dolphins, Dolphins one of them teams where they need a lot of defensive pieces in my eyes. But I didn't see like they did too much on the defense side. Jordan Brooks, obviously, is middle linebacker position, but didn't they sign yeah, they signed Kendall Fuller
hmm
and Jordan Poyer. I mean, what's your thoughts on their signings? Oh yeah, they got Johnny Smith too. I just seen that on the list.
Yeah,
Um,
I was gonna say, yeah, Johnny could be a pretty solid pickup for them, and Aaron Brewer. He's an underrated center. He played for the Titans, but yeah, he's kind of an under the radar guy, but he's solid.
do you think that they bolstered their defense enough? Because obviously last year that was kind of their issue. I mean, their offense is high octane, but their defense kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I like the addition of Kendall Fuller. It's a solid pickup, but yeah, I mean they lost. I mean crap, they lost. Well, they got Neville Gallimore, which is a solid, once again under the radar signing. But yeah, yeah, I mean they bring in Shaq Barrett and stuff, but what's they lost Andrew Van Ginkel and they lost
See, Christian
God dang.
Wilkins.
Bradley Chubb's coming off. Yeah, Chris Wilkins. That's it. Yeah, Christian Wilkins lost him, and then Bradley Chubb's got that torn ACL. So, I mean, bringing Shaq Barrett in could give them a little bit of juice, but yeah, I think that's something they're gonna have to address probably in the draft.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Just looking at the list, I mean, I feel the draft is gonna be their bread and butter. Do they have draft picks still? Do you know? Do they have a first?
Yeah, yeah, they got some. Yeah, they got a first round pick.
I wasn't sure if they were one of them teams that sold the farm for Jalen or not. I wasn't sure if they traded. I can't remember. Did they trade for him or did they sign him? Ramsey.
Um,
I
I want to
can't
say they
remember.
traded for him. I think they did trade for him. I know they have a first round pick, and I believe they have a second.
Okay, yeah, so they can get a couple pieces. Definitely to bolster that if they do go defense. I mean, I can't imagine what they could possibly need on offense realistically.
Yeah, honestly, they have very good offense. I mean, them boys just need to start practicing down in frickin' Alaska or something. Get used to the dang cold.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. And they didn't show up to that Kansas City negative 20-degree weather. I know that. What do we got next? We got the Patriots. Obviously, we're staying in. We're doing it by division, so obviously, uh, we got the Patriots. Oh, the Patriots, the Patriots. All the
Yeah,
years
you
in
got
the
some work to
reign
do.
of pure domination, and they just, I mean, that team doesn't look good at all. Uh, New head coach in the building, which I'm excited for. I mean, I'm excited for that. Excited to see what he can do. But when you're signing Kendrick Bourne to a 3-year deal, 33 million, you got problems. And I like it's nothing against Kendrick Bourne, but they have such a issue at quarterback. Which are we both in agreement that they go quarterback in the draft?
I think they have to. Yeah, I think they got the third overall pick. Like you gotta you gotta pick one of those top three quarterbacks.
I mean, they do have the option. They could take the best, arguably the best player in the draft, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. And them signing Jacoby Brissett, they use him as a little bridge guy for next year, and then they bring in their guy the following year. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, it's a very uh uninspiring roster at the moment. I mean, if you especially the offensive side, like the defense played well last year, but man, like quarterback, you got question marks. Running back, they got Antonio Gibson, they got Ramondre Stevenson, so you got something to work with there. But man, receiver, not a very strong receiver room. They got Hunter
bro,
Henry and Austin Hooper,
bro, they
but
got Jalen Rager, bro. What you mean?
Jalen Rager's. I'm not even gonna say it, but yeah, like I
Jalen
saw
Rager's the
Jalen
truth,
Rager
bro.
the other day. I was like, oh my god, this dude. Yeah, they need help across the board, man. Especially like their offensive line is. They re-signed Michael Wayne, who I wanted Baltimore to kind of make a run at, but they re-signed him, and their offensive line too is just it's just rough, man.
Yeah, they got the
Rough.
truth, bro. They got Chico Okafor. And there's a reason why he's on Pitt. If you can't start on Pittsburgh's offensive line, there's an issue, bro.
Exactly. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will.
I mean, Pittsburgh's letting offensive linemen go. There's something wrong, bro.
Very wrong. Yeah, something very wrong.
But hey, my man Broderick holding it down. Hopefully Pittsburgh drafts well
Yeah,
like they always do, and we come out on
they
fire.
let
I can't wait to get to the Steelers and Ravens. I can't wait.
they let Kevin Dotson walk last year, and you see what he did, dude. Pro
That is
Bowler. So I
true.
don't
That
know.
is
Okafor
true.
might be stepping in.
It might it might be the system. I mean, you might not be wrong, honestly. You might not be wrong. The Jets. Um, I'll let you speak on the Jets since I mean there was a trade that we definitely both unexpectedly didn't see happening.
Well, the Jets are in a weird they're in a weird flux right now. Like they're in a win like they have to win within the next year or two,
Yes,
or that
with
team's gonna be just right back to being dismantled again.
yeah,
Yeah, they are in a very weird spot. Like they have talent. They have a very solid defense, and they bring in Mike Williams, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith's healthy. He's top five offensive tackle in the league, even at his age and everything. And
absolutely.
Morgan Moses played really well for us in Baltimore. And I hate to see him go, but that's part of the business. But yeah, you bring in Mike Williams, but like when I look at these guys, they all have one thing in common. They're all very injury prone, and they're not getting any younger.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers coming off torn Achilles, Mike Williams coming off the torn ACL, Tyron Smith, a litany of injuries. It's, I mean, they're trying to win now. Good on them. I like Javon Kinlaw. He's a very talented defensive lineman, just hasn't been able to put it together at the pro level. But once again, another guy, injury prone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if they hold up, they're great. But if they don't, what do you do? But I think that the Jets, like I said, they're in win now mode. But I think now you got to start drafting towards depth, like the
The
future, like
future,
first
yeah.
round. Maybe get you a Brock Bowers. Try and get a guy like that. They don't have a tight end.
I mean,
Get a
that's where
veteran weapon.
I got him going.
Yeah, yeah, get a guy like that, and then draft some linemen, man. In the second round, grab an offensive tackle, interior offensive lineman, something, because that team is very old and very injury prone.
I mean, the key to their success is Aaron Rodgers staying healthy, and the only way for him to stay healthy and not have to run for his life is an offensive line. So, I mean, I definitely agree with you there as far as getting offensive linemen in this draft. I do think maybe go on the offensive side of the ball and get a Brock Bowers. That would be, I think that's just another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. But then invest your second and maybe even trade back into the first, depending on if there's someone you want on the board, something like that. Because they do have a high draft pick, and I mean, they might be able to trade that second and get back into the first late and grab someone, offensive lineman that they may see or they may want.
Yeah, absolutely. Grab a Jordan Morgan, or someone along those lines, because
Right.
all the prime tackles by that point should be pretty much gone through. But
Yeah, your
there may
top
be a
tier.
couple, there may be a guy that slips. It's always
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen crazier things happen. And then obviously it looks like the Jets are trying to, if Aaron Rodgers were to get injured or have to miss a game or two, they went with Tyrod Taylor, who last year he once again proved and showed that he can win games, coming in and playing with the Giants. But I mean, obviously, I'm not saying Tyrod Taylor should be their starter by any stretch of the means, but I mean, you have a guy that is light years better than Zach Wilson and gives you a better chance to win than. So I don't
Oh,
I'm
totally.
not upset with that signing. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me you're paying a backup $9 million, but hey, that's a contract they agreed on. Good on Tyrod Taylor for taking that money.
Absolutely. Another guy who's very injury prone.
Yeah, yeah. Add it to the list.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, for a healthy team on paper, they're awesome. They're be great in Madden. Just turn injuries off.
Yeah. Turn injuries off. You're solid. You are solid. Oh, we're moving right into the AFC North. Perfect. And the first team up is the Baltimore Ravens. You want to speak on the Ravens and what they've done so far and what they haven't done so far?
Yeah. Yeah, we came out blazing. We got Derrick Henry, which he was kind of tied to this last year, and everybody kind of speculated that he was going to be traded to Baltimore. The trade ended up falling through. Here we are in the off season. We ended up getting him, which I'm excited about. We lost Gus. Gus ended up signing with the Chargers, and J.K. still a free agent. Just injury after injury. Um, Keaton Mitchell had that scary leg injury last year. Don't know how he's going to come back. So we go and we get Derrick Henry, who, yeah, he's an older back. He's got some mileage on him and everything, but I think our offense, the way it's set up with Lamar Jackson, is definitely going to be a big boost to him, and it won't put so much pressure on him, because last year he was the offense. So I think it helps Derrick Henry a lot. It helps us a lot. So I'm excited about having King Henry over here in Baltimore. Um, Josh Jones, solid signing. We signed him a couple of days ago. A lot of Ravens fans are kind of pissing and moaning about it or whatever. But coming out of Houston, he was raw, but he has all the talent in the world. He's still 26, 27. He's young. I'm not saying he's going to come in here and be a freaking Pro Bowler, but he might be a backup swing tackle. But he's be one of the better backup tackles in the league. So I'd be happy with that.
If someone
And
goes
then obviously,
down, you have someone. He's not.
yeah,
You know he's a solid. He's a solid piece. He's not going to be Tristan Wirfs, and we know that. But I mean, he's a solid
no,
fill-in if need be.
yeah, he can play both tackle positions. He plays them well. If he has to step in, or if he starts at right tackle for us, cool. I'm happy with it. I think it was a good, savvy, solid signing by us. Like I say, he's
And
a
it was
younger
cheap.
guy. He can move around. Yeah, we got him for next to nothing. We can't, like, certain fans sometimes they just think that you just like, oh, our second stringers should be Pro Bowlers. Like, no, that's not how it works. Otherwise, guess what? They'd be starting. Like
Right.
so that's just how people think. But it was a solid under the radar signing, which I'm perfectly fine with. And then probably our biggest move that we made this off season was getting Beaks back. We re-signed him. He got a hell of a deal. He definitely got a bag, but he's worth it. He played great for us the
Yeah.
last few years, and he's gotten better every year. And he's just a menace, and he's an integral part of what we want to do going forward.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about prior to just leading up to the off season, and like we talked about, Baltimore's main focus got to be either franchising Matabike or getting a deal done before the franchise tag, and they apply it somewhere else. But them getting franchising him and then getting the deal done, I mean, that was their main focus. We believed, and obviously they did get it done because Matabike is just one of them players that you just can't afford to lose on your team. I mean, you just really can't.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm glad we got him back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. Looking forward to the draft. Like I said, we're pretty quiet this off season, but in free agency and whatnot, and didn't really do any trades. So I'm excited to see what we do in the draft.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Moving on to the obviously same staying in the AFC North, the Bengals. Um, the big one, which didn't quite make sense to me or you, is the Zach Moss. You gave up Joe Mixon and signed Zach Moss. I didn't quite understand that. I actually seen a fun fact the other day. Joe Mixon hasn't fumbled a ball in like it's like 700 and something carries or something, and then like 100 and something in the playoffs. It was something astronomical,
Dang.
and I was like, wait, hold on. He really hasn't fumbled. So I looked it up, and it's no joke. I mean, it's legit, and it kind of blew my mind. I don't know if there's maybe turmoil inside the organization with them too, but I don't know. It's just weird to me. You go with Zach Moss. You had Mixon, and then you traded him, and then you get Zach Moss. Zach Moss to me really hasn't showed me anything that I'm like, oh, and don't get me wrong, he was doing the damn thing.
Hmm.
Whenever Jonathan Taylor was out, but it just I don't know, it kind of shocked me. I guess you could say. T Higgins signing that franchise tag. Have you heard anything on T? I know he said he wanted traded, and I mean I haven't heard anything. And have you heard anything?
I heard that I heard that the Ravens called the Bengals and they hung up on him. So we're not getting T Higgins, but as far as I know, he's still on the block.
Oh well, there's that. There's that.
Yeah, yeah, I read that this morning, and I thought it was a joke, but I think there's some truth to it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't.
Why would
Uh,
you trade a guy like that in your division anyway? I
right,
don't.
absolutely. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
kind
makes
of
sense.
right. Obviously, Bengals are trying to still figure out their offensive line, going and getting Trent Brown, which to me is an awesome signing. I went to Pittsburgh to look at Trent Brown. Um, Trent Brown's a very solid tackle. I really like Trent Brown. Um, Once again, he's not Tristan Wirfs or um, he's not Flozo Adams. He's not Orlando Pace. Like, but Trent Brown plays his role very, very well.
Yes,
he
yes, he
he's
does.
not he's not in the bottom of the pack and he's not top five in the pack, but he's a very very good tackle. I think it's a big signing by them, and then them getting one of the players that me and you have said he seems very inflated in Geno Stone. I mean you can speak on Geno Stone, being that he played for your beloved Ravens. We both said like I think his true colors are going to show.
Yeah, and they didn't sign him to too much, you know, 7.5 million, a year, which is pretty
Not
damn good. And
terrible.
I like
Yeah.
Geno. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and shit on Geno Stone, but I want Bengals fans and stuff to know, like, hey, don't be expecting this dude to go out there and be an absolute baller because I mean, he was a rotational safety and he just got picks every time he got on the field,
Yeah.
which was amazing. But I'm just saying, like, as a full time safety, I'm guessing he's gonna be next to Dax Hill. Don't I
They
wouldn't
also got
expect him
Von
to
Bell.
be lighting it up. Yeah, they got Von Bell. Yeah, re-signed him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect too much out of him. They got Mike Gesicki, which could be a pretty good
Yeah, I guess
signing.
that's a very nice signing by them.
Yeah, that would give Joe Burrow a tight end that he hasn't really had. They had Irv Smith, but
And Drew
speaking of injury
Sample played
prone,
well for them last year.
yeah, he's solid. Yeah, he's solid. They signed him to a pretty nice deal for him. So yeah, the Bengals are starting to add some pieces and whatnot. So that's good for them.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much it with the Bengals. Moving on to the Browns.
I don't know what the Browns are doing.
Uh, if hmm,
At quarterback,
yes,
like what
the
are they
big one,
doing?
the big one, Jameis Winston. Listen, I I don't know if I'm off the train of Jameis Winston yet. Like I've been riding this train since he's been like I just wanted him to do good. I just wanted it so bad.
Me
And
too.
I I don't know if the wheels have fallen off. I mean, they might have now that he's in Cleveland. But for them to sign Jameis to a 1 year deal, like kind of tells me that they don't have a ton of faith in uh well, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, him and Tyler Huntley. I'm like,
And
dude, what
yeah, I
the
was gonna
heck?
say, and then Tyler Huntley. I mean, Tyler Huntley as a player, for him to be a third string, why is he? I don't understand why he's okay with that either. That kind of shook my brain too. But I don't know what they're doing in the quarterback room. I really don't. I don't. I don't understand. But on the flip side, they went and got Donta Foreman, Naheem Hines in the running back room. Obviously, uh, Chubb got that horrific injury last year, and hopefully he comes
Yeah.
back 100%. Would love to see it. I've been a big fucking Chubb fan. Huge. I love him. Like I love his run style. Like he's awesome.
Yes.
Um, but man, I mean, there's no telling. I mean, I haven't really seen anything. Then again, I really haven't been following. Every once in a while, I'll check and see if there's any update on him. But I did see like towards the end of the year he was walking, which that's incredible with how horrible that knee injury was.
Yeah.
Jerry Judy, the big one, them trading for Jerry Judy. Meaning obviously you're Jerry Judy fans. They got him for a fifth and a sixth. That's not bad. I mean, I don't think. Definitely gives Deshaun another weapon. A big. I mean, he has weapons. There's no excuse. The
Yeah.
defense plays like it did last year. They got weapons on offense. There's no excuse. I mean, now's the time. They gave you pieces. They gave you another receiver to throw to. David Njoku came into his own last year, which I've always loved in Njoku. He just
Mhm.
he was just very up and down, but he balled out the end of the season with Joe Flacco. Um, I think the time is now for Deshaun to get back to what he was in Houston. 2 years off for any quarterback is a long time. I don't care what anyone says. That's kind of like Le'Veon Bell saying he's coming back to the league. Don't even get me started on that. Um, but they if they're gonna do something and make a push and actually run, and it's gonna lay in the hands of Deshaun Watson. Honestly, I truly believe. I think it's gonna lay in his hands. The defense was great last year. I'm sure they didn't go backwards in my eyes, and I think that um, it all lies on the offense.
I agree with that. No, 100%. I truly agree with that, man. If they get a healthy Nick Chubb, they got Deontay Foreman behind him, and if I would love to see. I know people like hate Deshaun Watson now, and like I do get it, but I think a lot of it was overblown. But that's just me. I'm not going to get into
Right,
that at all. But
right.
yeah, I want to see Deshaun Watson go back to being Clemson, Houston Texans, just Deshaun Watson, and I'm hoping this being the number two receiver to Amari Cooper. I'm hoping that Jerry Judy has his
Gets this
his
figured
big
out.
breakout
Yep.
year. Like I want that. I do. I want them to suck against Baltimore, but like I would like to see this team. I would like to see guys like Jerry Judy, a healthy Nick Chubb, a revamped Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper out there, Njoku, that beastly offensive line they have every freaking year. Like, I want to see them guys play to their potential. And like you said, that defense, and particularly those corners they got,
Oof.
really freaking good. You know, you factor in
Ooh.
that, Miles Garrett, they got a heck of a defense. They're building a good team. Kevin Stefanski is doing a good job over there. So I would like to see them do something. I want to see Deshaun Watson take control of that offense. But they're putting pieces around him. He just has to be the one to
Yeah,
take them there.
I agree. I agree 100%. Moving on to the big one. The big one. One of the most active in the free agency, and it sounds bad and it looks bad because I'm a Steeler fan, but guess what? It's the truth. I mean, and everyone has seen it, everyone has witnessed it. This team has gone. Omar Kuhn has changed the vision of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you told me 5 years ago Pittsburgh Steelers were making trades and signing people in the free agency, I would literally say, I don't know where you got your information, but you're an idiot. Russell Wilson playing in Pittsburgh. Listen, I've never been a Russ hater, and I've never been like, oh, Russ is my favorite quarterback, but I've liked Russ. I liked his game. We signed him for like 1.35, 3.5, like 3.5 million. Yeah, like $1.3 million. We literally have Russell Wilson for free while the Denver Broncos pay his salary. Russell Wilson plays anywhere remotely close to the half of what he was in Seattle. This team is extremely dangerous in my eyes. You've brought it up numerous of times. His numbers weren't bad in Denver. Like, people act like when he was in Denver, he threw 30 interceptions. What was the one numbers you gave me? It was like 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, and like 5 interceptions or 6 something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Like, it's not. He's not. Russ has never been a 4,000-yard quarterback. Let's just keep it real right there. That's just never been his game. And now, yes, Russ. Everyone wants to argue the fact. Oh, well, Russell had Judy. He had who's the other one up in Denver?
Sutton.
Yeah, Cam. He had Sutton. He had the other speedster they had in the slot.
Marvin Mims.
Yeah, Marvin Mims. Like, yes, he had weapons on that offense. He did. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I know you agree with it because me and you've talked about it. But Sean Payton wants his quarterbacks to stay in the pocket and be a pocket passer. That's not Russ's game, and I think that really hindered Russ's game in Denver. And I mean, more and more starting to think that maybe Sean Payton was on Drew Brees' coattail more than anything, and that's why Sean Payton has the reputation he does, is because of a player. I mean, I'm not going to get too into it, but maybe that's what's happening. I mean, time will tell, obviously, but Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh's love it. It's cheap. It's damn near free. If he stinks, who cares? I promise you he's going to perform better than Kenny Pickett, that bum that they finally traded, and he's in Philly. Thank God he's a baby. He wants to cry that they signed him. In all honesty, you've shown no improvement since you've been in the league. And maybe a veteran coming in and starting and you learning behind them would have benefited you. But you wanted to act like a baby, and this is where you're at. You're going to Philly behind a $250 million quarterback that you'll never see the field unless his legs wrapped around his neck. And that's just what it is. I'm going to get irritated talking about Kenny Pickett because he's an idiot. But the other big one, trading for Justin Fields. Whenever it came out that they trade for him, and everyone knows, anyone that's ever watched this podcast knows that I have dogged Justin Fields every single day. I literally go, how's that Justin Fields stat line looking? Like, it's what it is. I'm not an Ohio State quarterback fan, but I give C.J. Stroud all the props in the world. That man is awesome. I love that dude, especially for what he reached out to our beloved Bama prospect. which the Bama quarterback room ain't looking good right now. But him reaching out to Bryce Young and telling him keep his head up. There ain't nothing you can do. I had a great year my first year. You might have the great year the second year. That's big props to another young quarterback reaching out to a quarterback that came in at the same time to reach out and say that. That's big props to him, man.
Absolutely.
But Justin Fields for a exchange for a conditional day 3 pick, why not? Dude, you put him behind a player that not as athletic, but a player that plays his style ball that he can learn. Russ might be that bridge guy, and Justin Fields could be the future. I mean, you never know. So why not? I love what our quarterback room in Pittsburgh is 1,000 times better this year than it was last year, and the season hasn't even started.
I agree with that.
Another big one. Like it just goes on and on and on with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and listen, go back to any VOD and video that we posted. I said Patrick Queen to the Steelers since day one that we knew that he was going to be a free agent. Guess where PQ is? He's in Pittsburgh. They paid the man. They paid him what he deserved. 3 years, $41 million for a young stud linebacker. And I know it pains you. We've talked about it. It pains you as a Baltimore fan to lose him. But you guys had other pieces, and you had to get Matabike re-signed. You still have Roquan. What is his name? Trenton Simpson?
Trenton Simpson.
Yeah, Trenton Simpson. Like, yeah, Patrick Queen, losing a player like that sucks. It doesn't matter any way you cut it. But Trenton Simpson has showed, and they obviously have confidence in Trenton Simpson to fill that void of Patrick Queen. And there's no better place for him to go than the divisional rival Pittsburgh Steelers.
Apparently not.
The big loss, obviously Deontay Johnson, one of the best route runners in the league, but he was acting like a baby and he didn't want to be here. And Omar Kuhn said, "Fine, get him out." Traded him. Got Dante Jackson and a pick in return. I feel that they could have got more, but hey, Dante Jackson gets back to healthy form and can stay healthy, which it seems like a lot of these conversations that we talk about, and the Jets, for example, it's all injury prone. Like if they can stay healthy, these players are going to be a very key factor in this team. And then Deshaun Elliott at safety position. I mean, Deshaun Elliott's another player played for Baltimore. Was a very good suffice safety, and we still have Minka. We still have KZ. You have to live and die with KZ. He might put someone in a body bag, get suspended for a game or two, and that's just what it is. You have to accept it. It's just what happens.
Deshaun, they both might.
Well, maybe Deshaun will realize, like, okay, KZ's gonna smoke someone. I'll just chill. But I mean, no, Pittsburgh has been very active. Couldn't be happier with what's going on with this team. Obviously, me and you thought that the Baltimore Ravens would be a little bit more into the free agency and trades, but it obviously didn't happen. And I know there's reports of Pittsburgh looking at Brandon Ayuk. Pittsburgh's also looking at Scary Terry, which, man, that'd be awesome. They're still trying to make a trade for a big time receiver. Justin Jefferson would be obviously the goal, but hey, if we can't, if they don't make a trade for a receiver, Pittsburgh drafts receivers really well, and I'm not worried. George Pickens is a dog. Calvin Austin, if he's used correctly, he's a dog. Our running game, two good running backs. It's going to really help Russell Wilson with the play action. I'm really excited for this year, man. I mean, I really am, and I know we've talked. You said you're going to be pissed if Justin Jefferson comes to Pittsburgh. Baltimore better go trade for some big time cornerback, which they were actually in talks for L'Jarius, but for some reason they couldn't muster up whatever it was to the Titans, a fourth or something.
A third and a seventh or something.
Yeah, third and a seventh. But No, I mean, I think we're in agreement. Pittsburgh has definitely changed their ways from in years past.
Yeah, they have, man. I'll be honest with you. I remember last year when everybody was kind of on the fence about Colbert retiring and everything, and they're like, oh, let's see what this Omar Khan guy's all about, So everybody was kind of disgruntled because Pittsburgh historically has drafted really well, and they're one of the best run franchises in the league, So whenever you lose your GM that's been there since Nom,
Right.
you lose him, and you're like, well, I guess we'll see what the. But Omar Khan studied under him for years and years, and he was waiting in the wings for a while to take
Yeah.
over, and finally he took over, and you see what he's doing. He's kind of modernized, Pittsburgh's approach by being active in the off season, more active than usual, not just resigning players, but also going out there and making stuff happen. Getting Justin Fields for next to nothing, getting Russell Wilson for
Pennies.
peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting Patrick Queen for a very good contract for a young up and coming linebacker. Dante Jackson, once again, injury, but he's healthy. The dude has a legitimate 4.3 speed, and he's
And
a
he's a
very solid
solid
corner.
corner. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And Deshaun Elliott, he's a hammer. Um, going against Van Jefferson, a guy who hasn't really shown the promise that he showed coming out of college, but has potential, has the physical ability, just needs to put it all together. And biggest thing of all, dude, they signed Bill Burr. They got Cameron Johnston, dude, a punter,
They
bro.
did.
Like, let's
They
go,
did.
dude. No more Presley Harvin.
You know, it's funny. Once you were done talking, I was literally gonna be like, we bypassed Cameron Johnson, but we got rid of Presley, and we have a punter that, fingers crossed, knock on wood, is not gonna kick the ball backwards and give field position every single time he's on the field.
Thank goodness. I don't think you have to have a garbage punter in order to kind of realize like we need like the importance of a good punter. Like in Baltimore, we
Yes.
always have a good punter, but yeah, like you guys got the dose of saying like, you know what,
Ooh.
we need a good punter.
The real question: why did they hang on for so long?
I think it's because they used a pick on him or whatever.
I mean, they got rid of Kenny.
At Georgia Tech, man, yeah, yeah, but I don't know, man. At Georgia Tech, Harvin had a freaking leg, you know.
Yeah, listen.
Did
He had it. He still did in the NFL. It was just once every 4 or
50-50.
5 kicks.
Yeah, every other kick, man, that thing was launched. But yeah, that kick in between, dude, it's probably going off the side of his foot, and they're getting great field position.
You're not wrong. Let's go to the Houston Texans. Man, I'm happy and I love to see what D'Amico and that Houston Texans organization's doing over there. Whew. They, oh man,
They're getting some deals done.
Joe Mixon. They bring in Autry, the Neil Hunter off the edge. I mean, they knew they had an issue at corner, and they went and got 5 of them. Re-signed, obviously, Desmond King, but they got Jeff Okudah, Lonnie Johnson, C.J. Henderson, Mike Ford. They were like, you know what, one of them's got to work.
It's very true. Very true.
And we were making a joke about a punter, but they went and got Tommy Townsend, one of the best punters that was with the Chiefs last year. I mean, no one realized it's not a sexy position. It's not he's a key factor, bro. Listen, I've been watching Presley Harvin for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been painful. And honestly, I have a lot more respect for punters. I really do. But I think with like the Neil Hunter, uh, Autry, them two right there on that defense. Obviously, they lost Grenard, but man, Daniil Hunter had a hell of a year last year. Autry had a very good last year. I mean, I think the Texans they they went forward to say the least. They took steps forward in my eyes. What's your thoughts with what the Texans did?
Yeah, I like what the Texans are doing. Yeah, I do. Getting Alshair, getting C.J. Henderson, a guy who, along with Jeff Okuda, were two corners that I was very excited about coming out of college. Okuda was dealt with the injuries once again, and C.J. Henderson just inconsistency. But I think with a coach like D'Amico Ryan's a defensive-minded coach, I think that could be a really good spot for those two guys to maybe try and turn it around.
Right.
Um, my biggest thing, to be honest with you, with the Texans was like I really like them re-signing Dalton Schultz. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Going to get Daniil Hunter, really good. Joe Mixon. I don't dislike the fact that they got Joe Mixon. I
It's the
just don't like
contract
the
they gave him.
contract that they
Yep.
gave him. Yeah, like you're kicking the can down the road for 3 years, taking a good chunk of cap space for a running back that he's gotten. I like Joe Mixon, always have, but he's lost a step. He's not as quick as he used to be. He was never, Chris Johnson, but he always had a little juice, but it looks like he may have lost a step speed wise. Maybe it's because, Browning was in and it wasn't Burrow, and it was kind of they weren't really threatened as much,
Right.
maybe. But yeah, the Joe Mixon thing, we'll see how it pans out. He may do really well with the Texans with, CJ Stroud and that offense that they have. He may do well. But yeah, it's a little questionable on the contract that they gave him.
Yeah. I mean, I can't agree anymore. More honestly, I'm not mad at the trade because they got him for pennies, but the contract is kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah, yeah. So other than that, yeah, good on the Texans. They made a trade. They traded out of the first round with Minnesota, and Minnesota got the 23rd pick from the Texans. The Texans got the number 42 pick, another pick, and they got a second round for next year, which is just the Texans building for the future. I figured they could have got more, but to each their own. So that's solid. I think that the Vikings are trying to get some picks together so they can try and move up and get a JJ McCarthy in the
Yeah.
draft.
We talked about that as well. I mean, it's it's smart on the Texans, I think, because there's it. I mean, yeah, there are holes in that team that can be filled, and I mean, who wouldn't love to get a top tier player out of this draft? But if you can move back just 15, 20 spots, however many spots it is, and you double down in the second round because there's a lot of depth at different positions depending on what they're looking at. I think it's very, very good on their part. And I agree with you. I think they could have maybe gotten a little more, but hey, I mean, that's what it was at hand, and they accepted it, and hopefully they draft well and they find some more key pieces to that offense and defense. The Indianapolis Colts. They didn't do much. Bunch of re-signings. The contract extensions. They obviously big one, bringing back Michael Pittman, 3 years, 70 million. He deserves it. Michael Pittman's a beast.
Yep.
Uh, love Michael Pittman. And then they brought in Joe Flacco to back up AR, which obviously losing Minshew to the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders.
Hmm.
Um, which man, I don't know. Someone needs to investigate Minshew for robbery because I don't know how he got the contract he did. But hey, it's the Raiders. Nothing surprises me with that team. In all honesty, uh, yeah, I mean the Colts are very quiet. They didn't. They re-signed a bunch of players and signed Joe Flacco, so there's not much to talk on their part. But as far as like the draft, because I do want to touch base a little bit on each team, what do you think the Colts do at the position they're in the draft?
I think it was big for them to get Kenny Moore re-signed and get Zaire Franklin back. So
Mm-hmm.
they were able to maintain two parts that like Zaire Franklin has been kind of the heart and soul of that defense, and Shaq Leonard left. So getting
Not
him
wrong.
back, not the heart and soul, I wouldn't say that, but just that linebacker, he's kind of like the Mike linebacker, the leader of the defense. So that was big. But for me, with the Indianapolis Colts, man, I feel like they need to work at cornerback. I know they got Kenny Moore back, and they drafted Jalen Jones last year, who I really liked, but didn't really play up to his potential last year. But I think that the Colts would really benefit from corner and probably interior line. Maybe another receiver to put next to Pittman. Alec Pierce hasn't been, great,
What was it? Yeah,
but yeah, I think that I can see them making some moves at the receiver position as well as in the secondary.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if anyone's
Yeah,
seen
the old
this.
Jags.
I know I sent it to you. Screenshotted it. I have it. I'll never delete it, just for the fact that I want to keep it. It got reported on ESPN that Mac Jones got traded for picks that were like 3 years old. Uh, it's kind of
That
funny.
was funny.
Obviously, complete error, but it was hilarious. And I was like, "Damn, Mac Jones is that bad? He got traded for picks from last year." Uh, we were cracking up about it, but yeah, they traded him with the Patriots, and honestly, Herbert. Wow, Trevor Lawrence goes down. It's not a terrible. They gave up a 6th round pick. I mean, not too many people find that diamond in the rough with the 6th round pick. So you get Mac Jones. I mean, he's been horrendous in New England, and another Alabama quarterback that's taken on water. But it's not. It's not. He has football knowledge. He has NFL experience. So why not? It's not a terrible trade. I don't think. Not that I'm lobbying him for him to be the starter because I love Trevor Lawrence. But the big one, obviously, bringing in Gabe Davis after losing Calvin Ridley. Gabe Davis has been amazing, but Gabe Davis has had some injuries. They brought in Duvernay. They they're trying to figure out that offensive line. I think that Jacksonville has made some good moves, especially with Ezra Cleveland, uh, Gabe Davis. Duvernay's been up and down. He shows flashes and then he disappears. Mitch Morris, Ronald Darby, Darnell Savage. I like what Jacksonville's done. Even Eric Armstead. I like Armstead. He's a very solid defensive lineman. And honestly, the Jacksonville Jaguars issue has been their defense, and it seems like they're trying to bolster that defense and try and figure it out.
I agree. I totally agree, especially in the secondary. They got Darnell Savage, really good signing. Ronald Darby, still a solid corner, played well for us last year. And that secondary, yeah, offensive line could use a little work as well. But definitely bringing in Ezra and Mitch Morse, like you mentioned, and bolstering that secondary. The Jaguars they're making some moves under the radar moves, but they're making some moves, man.
Oh man, the Titans. Titan.
Hell, Tennessee.
I'm not too sure what the Titans are doing. I'm just gonna be completely honest.
I don't know if the Titans know what the Titans are doing right now.
They bring in Mason Rudolph, which Mason Rudolph showed last year that he can come in and play. Will Levis is always their guy. They want him to be that guy, and hopefully he comes out to be that guy. The issue I have, the Calvin Ridley contract.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I was. Well, I didn't. If you weren't going to bring it up, I was.
Listen, Calvin Ridley has played well since he got suspended for that year. But bro, 92 million with 50 guaranteed?
This man's 30 years old.
What? What?
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's my dude. But yeah, that's
Michael Pittman didn't get that money.
no. That's the worst part about it too.
And another one. The Tony Pollard contract. This man's been allergic to the end zone since Ezekiel Elliott left Dallas. I uh I don't understand. I really like the Cushionberry, the 4 year 50 million. That's a great signing by them. I really like Cushionberry. And then the trade that just happened the other day, L'Jarius Sneed for a third and a 7th-round pick swap.
Yep.
And obviously, L'Jarius Sneed is going to have to sign a contract. So how big is that contract going to be? Because L'Jarius Sneed's talked about as one of the best corners in the league. So you have your money tied up in a 30-year-old receiver in a corner, which I love L'Jarius, but they're not in win now mode, to me at least.
No.
And not to mention, they signed Chidobe Awuzie
That
to a
one there.
3-year, $36 million.
He ain't been the same since he had that knee injury. I mean, Uzi is a really good corner, but yeah, since that knee injury, he hasn't been the same, and that's a good chunk of change.
This is something I would see from a team. I'm just going to use the Jets. Let's say that they didn't have Sauce Gardner. Like, this is something I would see from a team like that, not a team that is trying to they're trying to prevent the unpreventable, and that's the rebuild that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that these contracts are really going to bite them in a few years from developing Levis, from bolstering that offense around him. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of what the Titans are doing. Players wise, I like the pieces that they have gotten, but it's not like they were a cornerback away or a receiver away from going to the playoffs or even winning a couple playoff games. I mean, they're a lot away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were a team that was right on that bubble, I could see them why they're doing this. But they weren't on that bubble at all. I mean, they were piss poor. They rode the dog shit out of Derrick Henry, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And they moved on from Mike Vrabel, which was very shocking to me. But I don't know, man. I don't know if you're in agreement. If you're like I said, I like the players. I just don't like the contracts that they're signing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too. And I know that if you're a really shitty team like the Titans are, you have to kind of overpay in order for people to come here. But yeah, Tony Pollard, I don't hate that one. Get him and Tyjae Spears together and let them. That's where Tony Pollard is best, is when he's rotating with somebody. He's not a
Yeah.
do it all. He's not the workhorse back, which is nothing wrong with that. But he's explosive. He's still young. He's a good player. Lloyd Cushenberry, young player, just finished out his rookie deal. Need to bolster that line to keep Levis upright. Like that signing. L'Jarius Sneed didn't hate the trade and sign. Didn't hate it. Kenneth Murray even don't hate that contract. It's a good contract for a young athletic linebacker that's still trying to find his way a little bit. But man, that Calvin Ridley and Chidobe Awuzie contracts they're head scratchers for sure.
Yeah,
They are.
I just feel it's going
I
to be
like
more
Calvin.
detrimental
Yeah, god dang.
in
That's
the
a lot
long
of
run,
money.
obviously.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man, for a 30-year-old receiver that had to sit for a year, and he played well last year, but then a corner that hasn't really been the same player he was before having a catastrophic knee injury. So yeah, the Titans, like I said, I get you have to overpay a little bit to get people to come to your crappy team. Hell, the Jaguars went through that a couple years ago with the Christian Kirk signing. So you got to overpay to get people to come to your team. But man, yeah, those two contracts there, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing to me, honestly. But hey, maybe they go to the playoffs next year and it all works out. I don't know. I don't see it, but who am I to say that it's not going to happen?
Maybe, yeah. I would just be focused on getting pieces around on that offensive line because their offensive line stinks. I mean,
Yep.
Cushenberry is a good signing. I like Skoronski. Pettit Foray is pretty dang good, but yeah, that line needs some bolstering to keep Levis upright. Defense still a question mark.
Couldn't agree more. Denver Broncos, they didn't do really anything, honestly. I'm looking at this list and there's nothing. Signed a Brandon Jones a 3-year deal. PJ Locke 2 years, re-signed him. Did a bunch of re-signings. Denver's in a weird position, and they they are gonna have to.
Badass team.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure something out. I ain't got much on the Denver Broncos. I don't know if there's anything that you want to touch base on, but they just I don't know. That team's in a very weird position.
They are. Yeah, they certainly are. They just need to trade Pat Surtain to the Ravens and just move on about their lives.
Ravens get Pat Surtain. The Vikings need to trade Justin Jefferson to the Steelers, and that's just what it is.
That just is what it is. Let it be.
Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just talk about Chris Jones getting that bag.
Oh yeah, Chris Jones got food.
158.75 million with 101 guaranteed. These contracts
really
are insane.
Deal.
Yeah, right? Yes. Right?
Yeah.
You got Matabike for half the cost.
Yeah. Christian Jones is a monster though, so good on him.
Signing Irv Smith. Maybe Irv Smith can figure it out in Kansas City. I mean, you got the best quarterback potentially to do it all time, and if you can't figure it out there, then maybe you just realize that you ain't it. I don't know.
Always hurt. Yep. Even at Bama, he was always hurt.
And then obviously signing Marquise Brown to a 1-year deal. Obviously, you're very familiar with Marquise Brown.
Only player I've ever seen drop 3 touchdowns in one game.
It shocked me that they had issues with drops last year, and why not go get another receiver that can drop the ball?
Yep. Go get another receiver. They can drop the ball for you. God dang.
I don't get it. But hey, there's a reason the Chiefs have gone back to back, and who am I to judge what they're doing?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, that's the thing, too, dude. Like, they traded L'Jarius Sneed and all that, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. You don't need a good corner where you can just tackle the receivers before the ball gets there. So, like, what's the point of paying a corner all that money?
You're not wrong. Wrong.
So, big brain move by the Chiefs.
Yeah, hey, you're on to something. You can hold whenever you want. You can tackle receivers before they get the ball. I mean, you're on to something.
Yeah. Why spend the money when you don't have
to? The Raiders. Gardner Minshew, 2 years, $15 million. Jimmy G gone. They're bringing Alexander Mattison. And then obviously the big one, Christian Wilkins, $110 million. Once again, another feel good for Matabike.
Yeah, once again, I definitely feel a lot better about it. That's a good sign for the Raiders, though.
Once again, this contract for Gardner Minshew does not make sense to me. Is he your starter? Are they starting him? They're paying him $15 million guaranteed. He's got to be the starter, right?
Yeah, unless they draft somebody. But I mean, yeah, I don't think O'Connell's the guy. I don't think Minshew's the guy. I think they're just trying to. I don't know what the hell the Raiders are doing.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell the Raiders are doing, man.
Oh, I don't get it.
These quarterbacks, though, they get the bag. Backup quarterback is the best job in the league.
Hold a clipboard, bro. Hold a clipboard.
You pay dumb money to hold a clipboard and talk on a headset, and then people throw shit at you.
And if you go in and stink, they just yell at you and say, "This is why you're a backup," and be like, "I know. That's why I'm a backup."
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
The Chargers. I think the Chargers, for me, I think the Chargers are going to be active in the draft. I think they're going to be active like when the draft comes. I think Harbaugh's going to be active. Gus Edwards signing. You lose Austin Eckler, you go get Gus Edwards. And they got him cheap, $3 million a year for 2 years, so 6.75. Honestly, I like Gus. I've always liked Gus Edwards. So I don't think that's a bad signing by them. Don't be shocked if Harbaugh drafts what's his name from Michigan, running back.
Oh yeah, yeah, Blake
The
Corum.
hell's his name? Yeah, Blake Corum. Don't I wouldn't be surprised they drafted him third, late second, something like that.
Yeah, and Corum to me, my comparison for him is Austin Eckler. He just like the way he
Yeah,
runs and everything. So it'd be a familiar fit for the Chargers. He just the way he runs and his shiftiness and everything, his hands, like he just reminds me of Austin Eckler. So I think that's definitely a possibility.
very familiar face, obviously. Um,
Familiar with the offense.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean it fits well. Will
Yeah.
Disley they signed, and Hayden Hurst they signed. Obviously, they got traded away Mike Williams. And they traded away Keenan Allen. I think the Chargers are going to try to figure out a way to get a receiver. Yes, they have Quentin, they have Palmer, but I feel in the draft they're going to try and get a receiver. I think Harbaugh's going to get the best out of that defense. I think you're going to see a resurgence, which he's been great in. I literally drawn blank. What's the safety for the Chargers?
Oh, Derwin
Derwin
James.
James. Yeah, Derwin James. I think you're going to see a big roll out of Derwin this year. I think you're going to see him back to his true form, which Derwin James has been amazing. But once again, injury prone as all hell.
Yes, yes. They need to bolster that secondary. Yeah, their cornerback room is. I mean, it's shaky at best.
Yeah, and one person that I loved coming out of college and I was very he just hasn't been it is Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah, he's probably the best corner they got, but even
Right.
then,
Right.
he's very penalty prone. Yeah, he's a very good cover corner. He's a little too handy sometimes.
Right. Which that's seems like a lot of these corners coming out of college is that's their problem. Is they're just super handsy. And obviously Joey Porter Jr. He's a monster, but he was very handsy. And it's just something that they're gonna have to learn that you can't get away with that much in the NFL as you could in college.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The Chargers got all the pieces. Like you said, I could see them going for a guy like Malik Neighbors if
Yeah.
like everybody's saying Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think he's going to the Cardinals. But I think Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze, even they could take Joe Alt. It's definitely a possibility, but I think they're going to
Absolutely.
have to go receiver and
I
then
agree.
address corner down the road
Yeah.
in the draft.
Right. Moving into the NFC side of the ball, side of the divisions. Starting out with the Dallas Cowboys, who haven't done a damn thing.
No, they haven't done shit this offseason.
I mean, there's nothing to even talk about. Honestly, there really isn't. The
No,
Cowboys, I
not
think,
really.
are in a weird spot as well. Uh, Leighton Vander Esch retiring. Man, he was fun to watch. Neck injuries, though. He hung it up. Unfortunate. I liked Leighton, but hey, it's part of the game, I guess. And hats off to him for the career that he had and realizing it's time to step away. His health isn't worth it. That's literally all I have to say on the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It sucks. Yeah, with Leighton Vander Esch, he was a very good player, and even going back to his college days and neck injuries, and he started wearing that neck roll to try and help, and it just it's unfortunate it happens to players. I mean, you've seen it with Ryan Shazier. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't not obviously to that severity, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
Giants, they got their guy, man. Drew Lock.
That's it. Yep, that's the that's the solution to every problem the Giants have.
Another team that I don't understand what's happening. I just don't understand what they are doing.
They signed every offensive line on the market. that's that's one thing they said.
Jermaine,
Looks good
Matt
on them. O
Nelson,
line
John
sucks.
Runyon, Aaron Stinley, Austin. They definitely signed every offensive lineman under the sun. Um, The Giants swindled the Panthers somehow to get Brian Burns for a 5th round pick.
How don't you get a freaking first round pick for Brian Burns? I
Well, I
mean,
mean, they traded DJ Moore for not his 1st round pick. I mean, Luke Combs put out a tweet and put out Chris McCaffrey didn't get a 1st round pick. Brian Burns didn't get a 1st round pick. DJ Moore didn't get a 1st round pick. I feel like the Panthers are just like, you know what? Someone can have him. And once again, I don't understand why Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Brian Burns is a little bit player for Pittsburgh's defensive scheme, obviously, but I'm sure you could find somewhere to put him. I mean, let's be honest.
absolutely.
I think you can find someone to put Brian Burns. I honestly think you could, but
The Panthers make me
they make me cringe.
We'll talk about it when we get to the Panthers. But yeah, I don't want to make this about the Panthers. We're talking about the Giants and their offensive line resurrection. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
I just
needed
don't
it. Their offensive line sucks.
I don't
And Brian Burns
understand.
is a huge pick.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, he signed a $150 million deal, 5-year deal, but I don't understand why. Why? What does one player do for you? Brian Burns is back in the situation that he was in Carolina, being on a junk team.
And arguably, yeah, it's close. Yeah, I don't know which team's worse.
It might be
but
worse.
It's close.
It might
It's
be
close.
worse.
Yeah, and they got freaking Thibodeau. They got Ojulari. Like it's just weird to me. I don't know. It's just weird.
I agree. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Moving on to the Eagles. Very, very active in free agency. Holy.
As always.
Once again, the Eagles on paper, they look great, especially getting Kenny playoffs.
That's the biggest takeaway I got.
they got Kenny
Super
playoff.
Bowl, baby.
Obviously the big one, Saquon Barkley, which is massive. Man, I love that signing for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, he's got to be tickled. That's awesome. I think it adds a way different dynamic to that offense than what they had last year.
It's just salt in the wind to the Giants, isn't it? It's like
It is. It is. You guys signed 42 linemen while we signed Saquon.
The Cowboys wanted him too, and he was like, "No, I'm going to Philly."
Which I mean, talking about a team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Devontae Parker signing there. Hey, I was gonna say Paris Campbell, very under the radar signing, but AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, someone else has to be able to get open. I mean, they can't double cover both of them dudes, or if they do, your slot has to get open. So there's definitely an opportunity for both them guys, I believe. Them signing Landon Dickerson, very, very good signing by them. Another player that was entering the final year of his rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Re-signed Brandon Graham. They signed Brees Huff. Devin White in the middle of the field. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, brought him back after going to Detroit for a year. But, hey, I really think that the Eagles, obviously, once again, on paper, they look tremendous. They look great. It's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles come out and perform.
Yeah, I think Howie Roseman just went into this offseason pissed. Just the way that their season ended and how they they had that collapse. At
Ooh.
the end of the year. I mean, God, it was just monumental. And I think he just went into this offseason. He's pissed off. He went and he signed very good players, young players, and even Albert O. That was a solid signing. Big height, weight, speed guy that maybe they can get the best out of him as a number 2 tight end. Like they just went out and they made this team better. And really the only position that sticks out to me, especially, is the draft. Go find you a damn corner.
Yep.
You know, like get you another corner to put out there and
Darius Slay isn't
try
getting
and get
younger.
younger. Yep.
I mean, they get Nolan back next year. Devin White. I mean, the front line. Let's be honest. Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, the other Georgia Bulldog. What's his name?
Oh, Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. I mean, you ain't got no worries with them. None.
No.
Then they go and get Devin White. They get Nolan back this year. I mean,
Hopefully Keeley breaks out.
Keely Ringo, Eli Ricks,
Sidney Brown.
I mean, it's never ending.
Yeah.
It's literally
There's
it
so
just
much
seems like
talent on that
it's
team.
it just seems like it's never ending with that team, and it seems like anything they pick is going to be a luxury pick after they go and address that corner position. I could see maybe them getting someone like a Cooper DeJohn.
He would fit their defense really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a guy they can move around as like one of them chess pieces that that they like on that defense. Yeah.
Like that X corner that plays 1, he plays 2, plays 3. He plays in the box. He can play anywhere.
Yeah, that would be a Howie Roseman pick if I ever seen one. And, I mean, get that offensive line, get younger, man. You know, I think they're gonna kick Cam Jurgens inside and take over for Jason Kelsey after he retired, and go and do what Howie Roseman always does. Go and draft freaking offensive linemen that end up being Pro Bowl whatever's like just
Pro
do
Bowl
what you
Hall
do,
of
man. Do
Famers.
your thing.
Yep.
Yeah, do your thing.
Moving on to the Washington Commanders. What a weird spot this team's into. They traded away Sam Howell. They bring in Mary Goda. And I say Mary Goda just because it's hilarious because the dude sucks. They sign Austin Eckler. They get Zach Ertz. They trade away Curtis Samuel. I don't know what. This is another team that I'm very interested to see what they do in the draft.
Yeah.
Because they went and got Frank Louvu, which, I love Frank Louvu. And granted, he had one good year. He is a hammer, but he had one good year, and then he just got a big contract, with 3 years, $36 million. He had that one good year, and maybe he's on the upward and putting it together. Bobby Wagner signed there, which, dude, Bobby Wagner's Bobby Wagner. That's swaggy, dude. That veteran presence. I don't care where he goes. He's gonna help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in a very weird position. I think the Washington Commanders. I know I almost called them the Redskins. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. It's still stupid. They'll always be the Redskins to me, but whatever. They're in a weird spot. I'm very interested to see what they do within the draft.
I am too. I do believe that they're going to take a quarterback. Which
Yes.
one? It's hard to say, but man, you got to take a quarterback. And then, I mean, they kind of showed their hand anyway when they traded Sam Howell.
Yeah.
So
Yep. The writing
they're
was on the
taking a
wall. They're
quarterback.
taking a quarterback. Yeah. And if they
Yeah,
don't, I'd be really, really, really shocked.
Yeah.
Marvin
I
Harrison
don't think
Jr.
they're
better
gonna
be
go
on the
for that.
board.
No, he will be there, but that's the thing, man. It's like, God dang, it's hard to pass up on a guy like that.
I know. I agree. I agree. And it's not like they got a bridge guy for the quarterback position. I mean, they got Mariota.
Yeah, he'll quit on his team halfway through the season, so, hope you have a good backup to the backup. Can't stand that dude. But yeah, the Redskins are whatever. The Redskins Commanders, yeah, they're in a weird position, man. Like you said, they're just they are the definition of a team that's in a rebuild.
Yeah. Absolutely. Moving on to the Bears, who
The Bears.
they are in a position to that team could be good and talked about in the NFC North, or they just whiff and that team is absolute dog shit like they were last year. I don't quite understand the DeAndre Swift 3 years, 24 million signing. Uh I get it, split carries Khalil Herbert, but I don't know. I just DeAndre Swift, prime example in Philly, best place for him to go, physically possible. Philly would run and they couldn't stop him. But then he would disappear for 3 games.
That's the story of his life.
And I like DeAndre. I always have. Even when he's with Detroit. But it's I mean, hey, maybe it benefits him splitting carries with Khalil. Obviously the big one was them trading for Keenan Allen, another weapon for what everyone is anticipating being Caleb Williams. They obviously still have DJ Moore. What else did they do big? They brought in Kevin Byard, which listen. I admit when I'm wrong. Boy, was I wrong when he went to Philly. I was like, how did they just get better by trading away a piece of shit Terrell Edmonds and getting Kevin Byard? But Kevin Byard stunk last year. Jalen Johnson resigning. Obviously, that's a key piece on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. Did the Bears like? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I want your insight on the Bears. I mean, first overall pick. I mean, everyone is obviously leaning, saying Caleb Williams,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have what, like like don't they have the first and like the ninth,
Yeah.
something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they go with the ninth?
Man, I could see Fashanu still possibly being there.
Right.
I could see Roma Dunze possibly being there. Like,
Yeah. Did they just go get another weapon?
yeah, like what do you do? Or do you go and go on the defense side of the ball and get like a Terry and Arnold, Like they have,
Jalen
this
Johnson,
may
Terran
be
Arnold. Whew.
yeah, dude, like you get him or, Wiggins or one of them guys, like this may be one of the if they decide to take Caleb Williams and or any quarterback really, but if they take Caleb Williams hypothetically, which we all think is going to be the pick, this may be the one of the most talented teams that I've seen a rookie quarterback go to. Like,
Walking into hands down, hands down.
yeah, like they've worked on their O line. They brought in a veteran receiver to go with DJ Moore. They added to the running back depth. They got Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, and DeAndre Swift. And then you go on the defense side of the ball. Could they use a? Could they possibly use an edge rusher beside Montez Sweat? Yeah, so maybe you'll get you a Jared Verse or a Dallas Turner at the ninth pick. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like,
Mm.
dude, they got so many pieces on that team. Like, they're trying to build something in Chicago, and hats off to them, but it's
It's
all going
kind
to
of a
hinge on a
slap in the
rookie
face.
quarterback.
It's kind of a slap in the face to Justin Fields, though, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, it'd be like, no, I'm kidding, but
and
no, it's just a
it's
poorly run organization.
I mean, well, that whole scandal going on, the FBI investigating last year, a lot of crazy shit came out last year. So, dude, I think the draft's gonna be spicy, man. I really do. I think the draft's gonna be so fun to watch this year. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that 9 spot. It pops up and says trade alert. Because it's the Bears. Why not get your quarterback? Trade back a couple spots and get more capital. Ooh, this team could be dangerous.
That's certainly a possibility too. Yeah, certainly a possibility. I like Chargers. We were talking about them. Getting Malik Neighbors and that. Malik's. And if there's a guy they don't like there, and like a team wants to trade up and get a quarterback, Chargers might trade down. It's.
Yeah.
I think the draft's gonna get pretty spot. I think the first like 4 picks are kind of locked to me,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
5 on, dude, it's gonna be Hunger Games.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Moving on to the Lions, obviously the big one, making that trade for Carlton Davis. big signing for them, especially being cornerback's been their issue. And you filled me in that Cam Sutton is like running from the police or some shit. uh, which is actually hilarious because I lobbied for him and then he went to the playoffs and got beat like a drum by Mike Evans. He played so good and then he showed the true Cam Sutton. Obviously they made a couple re-signings and signings. Getting Graham Glasgow, is that how you say it? Glasgow.
Glasgow,
Uh,
yeah.
Kevin Zeiter, Dan Skipper, DJ Reader. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this Detroit team, man. They went to the championship last year, bro. I'm excited for them. They got so many pieces. Jared Goff needs to play like he has been. They can't have the turnover Jared Goff. And I know we keep saying that it's all contingent on Jared Goff and what Jared Goff shows up, but Jared Goff proves us wrong. He's proved us wrong for 2 straight years, man. And if he comes out and plays like he did last year, I think we're talking about the Detroit Lions right back in that talk of being a playoff team and potential Super Bowl team.
Absolutely. MCDC and them, they didn't just be like, we made it to the NFC Championship, that's cool, and then just said screw it, like the Lions have done in the past. Like they were like, we're going in the off season, we're gonna get guys re-signed, we're gonna get guys that fit our freaking scheme, and we're gonna keep building this damn team, and we're gonna make another run at the playoffs next year. So good on them. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love to see it. I love what that Detroit Lions team's doing. I really do. Green Bay Packers. Obviously, re-signing A.J. Dillon and bringing in Josh Jacobs, a amazing 1-2 tandem. And then the big one, Xavier McKinney, which wanted him in Pittsburgh. Didn't get it done, but he did sign a $68 million deal. And I don't know if Pittsburgh had that kind of cap space to bring in Patrick Queen and Xavier McKinney and Justin Fields. So hats off to Green Bay. It's a very young, talented team. Very, very good team. They shocked a lot of people last year. And, I mean, let's be honest, man. Green Bay goes forward. As long as they don't regress from last year, Green Bay's another one of them teams we're talking about. It's going to be a division of the Lions and Packers for, I think, some time.
I think so, too. I love what Green Bay's doing. I know we've talked about it extensively, so I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, I love what Green Bay's doing. And you go out and you get a very, very good safety that does not get talked about.
Right.
And I love Xavier McKinney. He's awesome. He was great at Bama. Like, he's a hell of a safety. And they go and get him young as hell, still 25, 26 years old, just finished his rookie contract with the Giants. That's why you didn't hear about him. You go and get him, you just add more talented youth to this team. Josh Jacobs still young, you just add more, you infuse this team with more young talent. And I love the direction the Packers are going in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Vikings, another team that I believe, in my eyes, is in that rebuild. If they trade Justin Jefferson, which doesn't make sense to me why they would, but if they do, it goes to show that they're like, you know what, it's time to clean everything and start fresh. They got their quarterback in Sam Darnold, signing that 1-year deal.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Aaron Jones.
USC quarterback.
Yeah, another standout USC quarterback, Caleb Williams. Aaron Jones signing with Minnesota, which I think Aaron Jones felt like he got slapped right in the mouth. He carried that team through the playoffs, and he was like, watch this. Now you're going to have to play me twice a year. Another signing that I like from Minnesota, but once again, it's just why. And I get Grenard he got a fat contract, and I understand why he did. He's like, screw it. I have a potential to win a Super Bowl here in Houston, but let me get paid $76 million for a team that they need so much. They need so much.
They do. Yeah. Getting Greenard and getting Van Ginkel, two good signings. But yeah, just a team that needs a lot. And like we talked about a minute ago, I could see this being one of the teams that they call, the Chargers, and they're like, hey, like, can we trade up with you assholes, or whoever? Like they're trying to move up. Like I said, I think that Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels are going to be gone. So kind of leaves them with J.J. McCarthy, or do they sit and wait for Penix? Like
Right.
what do they end up deciding to do? But I could see the Vikings being one of those teams that's aggressive and it's like, dude, we're trading up. We need a quarterback. So
Yeah. Yep.
I'm them. I'm not trading Justin Jefferson. I'm not
I'm
trading
not either.
him. I got him, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, Hawk. Like we
You
got a
got
really good
pieces.
line.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
pieces on offense.
our defense stinks. Okay, we get it, but like we're putting up points. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, the Vikings they got a lot of work to do, especially on the defensive side, and particularly in the secondary. Yeah, their secondary is just not good. Just
Yeah,
not good.
I couldn't agree more. And
But
I'm
they
glad
need
that
a quarterback.
NFL Network's rolling right into the perfect team, talking about the Vikings and now to the Falcons. Kurt Thuggins getting paid after a season-ending injury, 180 million, $50 million signing bonus, and he receives 150 million or 100 million guaranteed. Kurt Thuggins. Oh, Kurt Thuggins couldn't have gone to a better situation with weapons all around him, just like he had. Nothing against Minnesota. Minnesota had arguably the best receiver in the league. But Kurt goes to a running back with Bijan. He goes to a tight end with Kyle Pitts. He goes Drake London. They got your favorite player in the league, Ray McClown. Um,
They got my man Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore. Give me that Ray McLeod crap.
I was actually just about to say the trade for Desmond Ritter getting Rondale Moore. Listen, I like Rondale. Rondale Moore just was not used enough in Arizona, I don't think, and they can use him like the Cordell Patterson. So I really like what Atlanta has done. If Kirk comes back and is playing Kirk football, I think the Falcons could be dangerous, man. I really do.
I agree. Yeah, it's draft defense, man. Like
Yeah,
bolster
don't
that
even touch
offensive
your
line a little
offense.
bit. Yeah, just go straight defense. Go edge rusher. Go get you another corner to put next to AJ Terrell. Go get you build that damn defense because your offense, Darnell Mooney's good, and Rondale Moore's good, and Kirk Cousins is healthy with all them weapons, man. Like, because that was one of my things with the Falcons going into this offseason was like they need another receiver to put next to Drake London. Bam, get Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore.
Yep.
Like they're doing the damn thing. Like Atlanta's they're trying to get going. Their biggest issue has been quarterback over the years. I love what they're doing. They did, however, sign the worst offensive tackle I've ever watched play, and that is Storm Norton. All right, you gotta look at this tape on this dude. My goodness, he's awful. He was awful. He played for the Chargers. It was horrendous.
I, I I have hopes for Atlanta. I really do. I really have hopes for Atlanta. I hope Bijan gets to do Bijan things. I hope Kyle Pitts is back to being a receiver and not trying to block with him. I just I like what Atlanta's doing, and I hope that it comes to fruition and they ball out. I really do. Unless they play Pittsburgh, and then I hope they get smoked. But yeah, I mean, offensively, they don't look bad. Offensive line needs some work, but they just launch picks at that defense. That's it. Just launch them.
I agree, 1,000%.
Carolina Panthers.
This team
We
breaks my
talked.
heart.
We touched base on trading Brian Burns for a bag of chips. Um, they go and get Deontay, which weapon for Bryce. Can't be mad at it. They go and sign Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. Uh, they seem like they're trying to do right and try and help Bryce as much as possible. I mean, you got Adam Thielen. You got Deontay Johnson, who's a great route runner. He may drop 52 passes a year, but you take the good with the bad, and he might run backwards for 400 yards. He might have more yards ran backwards than he does forward, but you have a great route runner in it, and they have to respect it. Chuba Hubbard hasn't really done. I don't want to say what everyone thought what he would do, but I thought he would be better than what he has been. But that could be part of the offensive line that they have down there. That bringing in Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, I think, really helps that offensive line.
Yes.
I mean, interiorly, at least their offensive line looks all right. With those two big boy guards, but
Yeah.
it's another team that you look at and you're just there's a lot of pieces that they need.
Yeah, they have a lot
Defensively,
of pieces for sure.
they could use a tight end. Uh,
Hell, I'd say a running back, honestly.
yeah, a running back. They can't go wrong with a running back. Like I don't think any running backs are worth. They don't even have a first round pick. What am I talking about? Uh, but super early, I wouldn't take a running back. But yeah, I agree with running back 100%.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a run on running backs probably in the third round. I could see maybe one going in the second. I don't really see any first round talent running
No,
backs this year, to be honest with you. I think if Travion Henderson or Rocket Sanders came out this year, possibly, but Travion Henderson definitely. But yeah, this year I don't see it. Yeah,
I agree.
I don't see it. Yeah, especially with the way the position's depreciated over the years.
Right. Moving on to the Saints, they haven't really done much. Chase Young
Oh,
signing with
Nathan
them.
Peterman, man.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl bound baby. Obviously, Willie Gay was a good signing by them. I did like that signing. Uh, and then Chase Young. If I don't know if the reports are still if they're true or not from him giving up on the team or whatnot, but he's having neck surgery, which who knows if he's even going to be ready by the time season starts, which is crazy. So the Saints are the Saints, and they'll be one of them. The Saints are one of them teams that they're going to lose games by a point, 2 points, and they're just going to miss the playoffs by a slim margin because they just aren't over that hump yet. The Buccaneers, another team that we talked about in late in the season. No one expected them. You said it. No one expected them to be where they were. Baker Mayfield played his ass off. Good on Mike Evans re-signing, staying in Tampa, which no one thought he was going to. I know I didn't, at least.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, I thought that there was a chance, but I thought he was going to go to a different team.
Keeping Jordan Whitehead and Antoine Winfield together on the back end. And the one that was surprising, honest, and I'm going to be honest, Levante David. I mean, it's not surprise. It is surprising, but I'm surprised they wouldn't have tried to keep a younger Devin White than Levante David. And I get it. Levante David's been that heart and soul of that defense forever. But hey, good on Tampa. And I last year, if you told me Tampa was going to the playoffs, I would have laughed in your face.
No kidding. Yep.
So there's no real telling of where they're going to end up this year because that's another team that's in a spot where they need a good amount of pieces. They really do, especially on the defense side of the ball, because they had the best cornerback trio I've ever seen in my life, and now they have none.
Yeah. Yep. That is true.
Well, let's see. We're working on an hour and 40 minutes. We got 4 teams left, I think. Yeah, 4 teams left. Okay, so Arizona Cardinals, another team that didn't do much. Uh, traded for Desmond Ritter, which I'm not sure what that trade. Why? Have you read anything? Why? Like what the reasoning behind that was?
No, I have no idea other than maybe they just wanted a better backup. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
Because it's not like they got picks or anything. They just traded Rondale Moore for Desmond Ritter. It just didn't. I feel like Atlanta won that trade, hands down.
Yeah, if they can use him the way he needs to be used, then yeah, they definitely won that trade. Yeah, the Desmond Ritter thing was a bit of a head scratcher.
And then obviously signing Sean Murphy Bunting to that 3-year deal, but the famous last words of this podcast have been injury prone. Sean Murphy Bunting stays healthy, he's a dog. I mean, I love Sean Murphy Bunting. I love Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy Bunting, and Carlton Davis. I don't know, man. They're in a weird position. Once again, it's another team in a weird position. You don't have any weapons for your little midget quarterback, Kyler Murray. Your running backs aren't helping matters. James Conner, like I don't know. I don't, where do you see the Arizona Cardinals going in the draft in the first round? Do you think that
Well,
that's the team that gets that Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I do. I think that the first three picks are gonna be quarterbacks, and then I think that's when the Cardinals pounce and they get Marvin Harrison Jr. and they get their guy. Yeah, I total that. That's where I would go, but I'm not an
I
NFL
agree.
GM.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Patriots, I might be taking them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I would think long and hard. I thought for a minute that the Commanders would be like, let's give Sam Howell another year, and they would take Marvin Harrison. Then they traded him. I was like, well, there goes that.
Right, right. Even if you did trade Curtis Samuel like you did, you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, or the thing with the Bears. The Bears is the same dang thing. I was like, oh, maybe they'll keep Justin Fields and skip out on and
Give
whatever
him all the
draft a
weapons in the
quarterback
world.
later. Yeah, but they didn't. So yeah, I could definitely see him going to the Cardinals, which is unfortunate because it's going to be like deja vu, Larry Fitzgerald all over again.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
going to go to a bad Cardinals team and just be there for 20 years and
Play his role well and retire as one of the best.
yeah, I'm hoping it's different. Yeah, maybe the Cardinals will be able to do something. We'll see. But
I
yeah,
think
that's
they
what I
need
would
too
go with.
much. I just think they need too much, man.
They need a lot. Yeah, they do. Their defense is not that great. Their offensive line. It feels like every year we're talking about the Cardinals' offensive line not being that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals need a good bet for sure.
Moving on to the Rams. And you know what? I am not mad at. I hate Jimmy Garoppolo, but he was better as a backup. And honestly, I'm not mad at them signing him to a 1-year deal for $4.5 million. I think that
No.
that's a perfect fit for him. It sucks for my boy Stenson Bennett, which I think you told me that he's in trouble too or something.
Yeah, he might end up retiring. Yeah, he's got all kind of shit going on.
But Jimmy Garoppolo, it's a perfect situation. But my favorite signing for the Rams, and it irks me to say this because, bro, Pittsburgh, Cameron Curl for $13 million on a 2-year deal.
Yeah, that is a hell of a deal. He's a very good young safety.
Young, real young. And then they obviously got Darius Williams at the cornerback position. Losing Aaron Donald obviously is going to play a huge factor into this Rams team. I mean, that dude has been the blue and gold, if you want to call him that, Rams. I mean, the dude was arguably the best defense tackle to ever play the game. And that's just what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, people can say what they want, but that is the God's honest truth.
But the Rams, once again, their offense doesn't look bad, especially with Puka Nakua. A dude plays like he did last year. We're talking about Puka Nakua for years to come. Cooper Kupp can get rolling. What's the running back's name? He showed out last year.
Oh, Kyron Williams.
Yeah, Kyron. I feel Kyron balled out. He had more than what anyone thought he was going to do. Um, the Colby Parkinson signing is kind of shocking to me. For not shocking, but the money they gave him
I agree with that. Yeah, I do. I was literally just looking at that. I was like, damn, Cody Parkinson got paid.
for a tight end that really hasn't done a whole lot.
No, no, and I like them re-signing Kevin Dotson and
Yeah,
getting Jonah Jackson in there. If he's want to get another guy, if he can stay healthy, he's a very good guard. Because that offensive line for the Rams has been kind of crappy for the last few years. So that was
right.
two good signings.
But yeah, I mean, I like what the Rams did. Very minimal, and obviously they were put in they're in a very bad cap situation with the dumb shit that they've done in the past. So that's just what it is. But we got two teams left, and obviously we're coming up on that 2 hour mark. We'll try and fly through the 49ers. Josh Dobbs, which like the Minshew mania, the Linsanity, whatever you want to call it. Um, it came to a screeching halt, to say the least.
Yeah, it did.
But the big one is Leonard Floyd. As if that defense didn't need to get any better. They went and got Leonard Floyd. And obviously, I get it. We're not talking about Leonard Floyd. He's fucking 20 years old. But, dude, Leonard Floyd's a monster. He's a hammer. He's a beast. He plays his role well. I'm a fan. I really am. They do anything else? I'm trying to look through this.
Yeah, I like the Devondre Campbell signing. I really like
Oh,
Devondre
I
Campbell.
skipped right over that.
Yeah, I like Devondre. I like that signing. You know, with Greenlaw having that
Yeah.
devastating freak injury, that really sucks. But you bring a guy like Devondre Campbell, get him in there next to Warner. That's that's a really good signing by them. Really under the radar signing. I like the Devondre Campbell one. I like the Gross Matos too. Hopefully he can reach his potential, just like any other Penn State edge rusher has all the physical abilities in the world. Just for some reason can't figure out a way to do a counter move or has any secondary plan if his first rush doesn't work. So hopefully he can figure that out.
No way.
Yeah, no way. Everybody but Micah Parsons, basically.
uh, Seattle, last one.
Eat chickens.
Traded for Sam Howell. Which, what does that say for? Uh, wow. Why am I drawing a blank tonight?
Gino?
Gino. Maybe they're bringing Sam Howell in to learn off of him. Gino had that resurgence at the end of like in the later half of his career, and he's played well for Seattle. Um, but Gino really fell off at the end of the year, man. He didn't look great.
No, he didn't. He did.
Oh.
He kind of collapsed at the end of the year.
I mean, bringing in Noah Fant, re-signing Big Lou. I like the Jerome Baker signing for them. I do. I really like that. I've always been a big Jerome Baker fan, and I mean, they got our favorite recorder in the league, straight Artie Burns Island. They signed him, so they re-signed him. So I mean, I don't see why the defense isn't bolstered re-signing Artie Burns.
Yeah, dude. I mean, aside from the obviously jokes about Artie Burns, God, that dude's a bum. But Rayshawn, uh, Tyrell Dodson, Jonathan Hankins, I really they're getting some pieces on and yeah, particularly on defense that they needed for sure. Especially with Jonathan Hankins, he has some
Yeah,
beef up front, which they've always had smaller defensive tackles up there in Seattle. So I like that. But man, I would really like to see them work on the interior. The tackle positions are fine, but the interior of their offensive line, they
bad.
really got to get. Yeah, they got to get some. they got to put in some picks for the interior line because
And if you
then they
bolster that,
lost
you
Damian
got Kenneth
Lewis too.
Walker.
So
I mean, it's not like you don't have
yeah,
a running back.
yeah, get Kenneth Walker, man. Fix up that interior offensive line. You got DK, JSN, Noah Fant, freaking Tyler Lockett. Like,
You
yeah,
got
start
pieces.
building Charbonnet. Like,
I don't think that they're
yeah,
gonna
man.
have that like rebuilds. I think they're gonna they might have a year or two down, but they can come right back up in their situation.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It depends on the quarterback situation. Yeah, that's what it's going to kind of boil down to. Because Seattle, they got a really well put together team. They just got
Right.
to, put it all together and
Yep.
get. They live or die by Geno Smith.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but so that rounds out all free agency. Like we said, we took a little break. We wanted to let the free agency run wild. Um, Definitely going to get back in a groove, especially with these pro days happening and draft coming up soon and just everything going on. We're going to try and do a video a week and keep that ball rolling. Keep tuning in. Try and drop information as we get it and as we see it and talk about it. And listen, the best time of year is coming, and that's the draft. And I honestly can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And I'd like to maybe drop like a 20, 30, 40-minute video, what we see in the draft, maybe this upcoming week, if you're cool with that, about players and depth at different positions and everything like that.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, we could do a few like separate pieces. We could do like quarterbacks through tight ends, and then
Right.
offensive line, defensive line, then linebackers, corner, safeties. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we
No,
could
that's a good
do.
idea.
Yeah, we could space it out, and it won't be nearly as long. We can just touch on different players and different teams and positions that we think that they could add and stuff. Yeah, it'd definitely give us a lot of material to cover.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we covered everything top to bottom today. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, this is a lengthy one, but we went over a lot of stuff and talked about a lot of information with all 32 teams in the NFL. I personally don't have anything else. You have anything else?
No, no, that covers it for me, man.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone sticking with us and all the text messages I get about the bets and everything. The bets we have still been betting. Obviously, I haven't been releasing them just because we haven't done a video. We've been betting a lot of NBA basketball player props, straight up games, money lines, cover spreads, so on and so forth. But with that being said, we appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the likes, the follows, we've seen a lot of growth since we started getting back into this and being more consistent with it. And I couldn't be more thankful for everyone. Like I said, we do this for fun, so why not record it? Maybe other people have the same views that we have. And we are Brandon and Steven with BS